Good afternoon, Unity partners. Thank you for joining us today. We got an exciting webinar for you with Taxwise and all the great changes coming up for this year. I think you'll like what you're going to see. Joining me today is the great Don Evanoff from Taxwise and Walters Kluwer, and Alexis Bailey, whom you all know very well by now. We are going to go over the changes, and we'll be, if you look at your screen, there will be a section where it has the questions. Please type your questions in as we go. And also, if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. There's an emoji there. We really like to hear feedback from you guys. Let's keep this fun and entertaining. And without further ado, I'm going to let Dawn take over.
Okay, good morning. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Sorry, I've been running in different time zones. I'm going to turn off my camera because I have crazy bandwidth. So I'm going to stop my video, but I'm going to then share my screen, okay? So off with the video, on with the share. Maybe. Alexis, can you tell me if everybody can see it? It doesn't put anything around my screen like I usually have in Teams.
Screen, everything looks beautiful.
Okay,
and
so
John, before you jump in, I just a couple housekeeping things I do want to go ahead and say.
okay.
We are not going to be doing live questions at the end via mic. So all of your questions that you have throughout the webinar, please go ahead, go to your left-hand side. You should see a tab that says Q&A. There you can type in questions at any point during this webinar. We will either answer them via chat throughout the webinar or answer them at the end of the webinar. But we won't be taking live questions, so just make sure any questions you have, you're writing there. Okay, I think that should cover everything housekeeping-wise on my end. You go ahead, take on over, done.
Okay, great. So I'm going to do some things in the Unity tax software that I can show you, but I'm also going to go into the QA software. So sometimes that's fun because anything can happen, but certain things I can't show yet. It's not out in production. And so I'm doing it in QA. Okay. So I have logged into a tax return, because I want to show you, you now have a new pane over on the right-hand side, and that is tax entry help, or your context-sensitive help. So when you go through and you tab from line to line, it's going to change and give it to you. If you remember, in previous software, it was a box that opened, and sometimes it was over the box that you needed to enter data in. So it was a real problem and it was in the way. You have arrows here where you can close it. So if you don't need it, you can go ahead and close it. The other thing that we added is this little comb. And it's really not a comb, it's really a ruler. But when I first looked at it, I thought it was a comb, and it's called the line guide. We actually released that in the end of season. So if you have been using the software, you may have seen it. It is defaulted to be off. And hold on, it's loading for some ungodly reason. I was moving through really fast earlier, but right now that's not happening. I'm going to switch over to QA. Sorry. I think the share has slowed me down quite a bit, so I apologize, everybody. I was flying through it a little while ago. It's easier to see. You'll see here that it's up at the top. I have mine turned on. So again, it's the icon that's really a ruler. and it's called the line guide. It's defaulted as off. You click on it and it turns it on. And then as a user, it keeps your settings. So if you turn it on, it'll be on until you turn it off. Okay? So that is your line guide. We actually went out and talked to customers and watched them do returns. And we had people that were holding rulers up to the screen to be able to go straight across so that they didn't accidentally put a number either below the line they were working on or above. So this was a big piece we did because we know we all get tired and our eyes kind of go crosswise. So that's a big piece there. The other thing that we added, and I'm just going to add a Schedule C. Is you have a new icon at the end of your Schedule C's, F's, E's to link depreciation worksheet. So for those of you, if you were ever on desktop, there was a button. You'll notice I just have the Schedule C. I do not have anything about depreciation here. When I click the link depreciation worksheet, in one click, it will add the 4562 and open your asset worksheet. So you don't have to go to the depreciation line on Schedule C, link to the 4562, go to line 6A on the 4562 and link to the asset worksheet. I like those claps, guys. Keep them coming. We thought you would really like that as well. Much quicker, much easier. You have then, of course, go in and enter all your data just like you always do. Nothing has changed there. The other thing you'll see is you'll see at the end of the asset worksheet, I have a new icon that's change parent form. So again, if I accidentally put this asset on the Schedule C and it was supposed to go on a Schedule E, or if I had multiple rental properties and I put it on one property and it was supposed to go on a different one, you can actually click the change parent form icon at the end of either the asset or the whole 4562. I can move somewhere else as well. So either one, either just the asset or the entire 4562. Again, if I put it on the wrong place, you will just click it and then click on where you want it to go. Okay, so if I don't want this asset in the C, I want it on an F. Again, if I had a Schedule F in here, I would click the change parent form on the asset and then click the Schedule F, or if there's a 4562 under the F, I can click on that 4562. So that's a new piece that we added as well. So we have that too. Okay. The other thing, and I'm going to save and close and get out of here. Maybe. There we go. So we've made some changes here as well. So on your dashboard, after your setup assistant, you now have a rejected returns button and you have an available states button. So we're going to talk about the rejected returns first. If you have a rejected return, it now will show up under that button. So you'll see the rejected return. If I click on the arrow, it will give you the reject information here. Again, I can come here and just click on the arrow and it gives me more information. So I've got more information. I can copy this to a clipboard. So let's say I want to go in and I want to go to the knowledge base and check what this particular reject is. I can just click that one button, copy it, open the support site, go to the knowledge base, and then paste it right there. I can also, of course, go to the return. So you can get this all done right here, right from your dashboard and making life easier. The next one's available states, and this is a big one. So we all know we start the year and all the states aren't available, correct? So we start a return January 15th. Maybe they want to do a pre-ac or they're trying to get ready, but whatever state, and I know you guys are located in Florida, so there's not a state return, but we're talking about one where it does have a state. And you get that little message that says the state is not available yet. But the people want you to e-file the federal, right? Because they want to get their return as soon as it's opened. And so you'll notice that when the state becomes available, just like the rejected return has that little pin that shows you one, it will show you how many states become available when you open it. And then again, just like the rejected returns, you can drill down, and in the state, you can see what returns have that state in it that hasn't been e-filed as well. And again, I can't show you that. We don't have that where it shows up in QA yet, because of course the states are not available. So nothing's pulling up as an available state. But again, you will have a pin on there. So if 3 states become available, you'll have a little pin that says 3. And when you open it, it will then show you each state and what returns are under that particular state, and then the other 2 states as well. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to go back to my returns. So this is another new component that we've changed as well. As you notice, I opened the tax return. I did nothing else. And it tells me the business return associated with the K1 has been edited. Do I want to refresh it? So now, if you have K1s for the return, you just started the return and you have not brought the K1s in, you will automatically get a message after you have the taxpayer and the spouse's socials in about K1s being available for the return. And then again, if you change the business return, so you did not transmit this return yet, and you went back into the business return for the K1 and you made changes, then it asks if you want to refresh it. And I'm looking, I must have deleted my K1s. But I could go ahead and say yes, and it will bring my K1 new information in. Again, remember, you have to think about whether you have transmitted the return or not as to whether you want it to update or you want to add the 1040X and then update it, okay? So please think about that before you do that. Let's see, it looks like I got all green here. So let's go ahead and run diagnostics. You'll notice I've run diagnostics and I have my create e-file button like I've always had. Once I click it, I'm going to go ahead and click create like we always do. You'll notice now, and again, it will depend on the role that the preparer has. But of course, I'm an admin, so I can do everything. I can transmit returns. So I can submit the e-file right from here. I do not have to, of course, you'd have to have it printed and signed, however you're going to do it, whether it's e-signature or a wet signature. You want that 8879 signed before you transmit it. But I can just transmit right from here. So I don't have to save and close the return, open the e-filing tab, and then submit the e-file. And again, you'll notice the state will become available submission once it's ready. I'm going to go ahead and say continue. I've already queued this for submission. So you get the same kind of messages and everything as if you went to the e-filing tab. But again, it's up to you in your office of how you submit returns. Some people have people reviewing them in the back. And so they review 10 returns or 20 returns or 5 returns, and then they transmit them. And then they do the next group. You can still do that under the e-filing tab. But if it's just you and you do a return and you transmit, you can just do them right here to save you time. So again, it's a new piece for efficiency that you have as well. Okay, I'm going to close that. The other thing that's big this year, and it's one of our components for AI. So I want to go up here and I'm going to click on the little book, which gives you tax help and has the master tax guide. Oh, wait, I can't be in QA. Hold on. I have to be in my account too, because I'm linked to my Answer Connect account. So give me a minute. Oop, that is not mine. Sorry, I thought I had them all open so I could just go to them. Let's see if I got the right password. Nope, not this one. This one. Sorry about that. Oh. Oh, must have changed it this week. This is a fake account. Sorry. Oh, you little devil. Hold on. Nope, that's not where I wanted that. Trying to see what my password is for this client ID. Sorry, I go from one to the next to the next. So sometimes I get confused. 64. Oh, that's what I had. That should be my password. Apparently it didn't like it the first time. So again, I'm coming back here. I'm going to tax help. So this is my Answer Connect package as a Walters Clore employee. So we get like everything under the sun. But you'll notice you have this AI assistant now, and it has it in the master tax guide. So if that's the only thing you have, you can do it. For those of you that are not real familiar with AI, when you ask it a question, it's called prompting. And the more you put in the prompt, the better your response will be. And it's very important as AI starts coming out that you use a very trusted source like Answer Connect. Okay. You don't want to Google it, because if somebody put in information that's wrong, it may be what it pulls up from the Google. So here I'm going to say, where do I enter auto interest for tax year 2025? And the reason I'm doing it for tax year 2025 is because we all know prior to that, you couldn't deduct your auto interest unless it was a business expense. So you need to give it as much information so you get the correct answers and aren't having to go back and add more and go back and add more to get where you need to go. Okay? So there's the answer. It tells you the source and where it got the information from. Some of it is from code explanations. Some of it is from the master tax guide. So everything here is the information for it and what you'll need. So it comes right up. Alexis, do you have a lot of people that speak Spanish?
We have a fair bit.
You have a fair bit? Okay, I'm going to try something. Hold on. Because I don't have Spanish, but I've been doing Getwise. And so at Getwise, they sent me a Spanish question because somebody said, can I do this in Spanish if I'm more comfortable in Spanish than I am in English? So give me 1 second. Oh, heck, I just saw it and it just went away. There we go. I was like, they better not have punked me on this question when they did it for me. But here, I'll show you as well. So again, it does other languages because it's AI. So there is a question there. When I go ahead and send it, it will look for that question, and then it will give me the answer in Spanish as well. So again, for those of you that are more comfortable in Spanish, it will work there as well. What do you guys think of that? Do you like the AI in it? Seeing some claps. Okay, good. All right. So that is most of the items that are new. There's a couple other pieces. Hold on, let me get rid of all of this. I'm going to go back into my QA piece and get rid of this. Save and close. Okay. Okay. And I got kicked out the whole way out. Let's go back in. One of the other things that came up this year is that in your template, I can get there. I'm just going to go to the price sheet. It's an easy one to show it. Sorry, it's thinking. It'll just give it a minute. Yeah, and maybe. Nope, went too far. Sorry, wanted to get to discounts and I lost my scroll bar here. That's one of the problems sometimes with saving, with sharing. You end up losing some of the ability that you have when you're not sharing a screen. Oh, why are you not moving? Give me 1 minute. I clicked on the W2. It says it's going there. I'm trying to get off of it and come back. There we go. And I do not see the button. Try it again. Let's hope I don't pass it this time. Sorry about that. You'll notice when I clicked on the discount type, I now have a history list. So I can create a list of the types of discounts I want. So you notice I put in senior, military, price match, coupon, other, whatever type of discounts you give. You'll also notice that mine says unlock list because I locked it. Those are the only choices they can pick in the tax return to give a type of discount. So if you want to add others, you just enter it and click add. If I want to delete one, I just highlight it and delete. Again, this will normally say lock list, but I've locked my list, so that's it. And then you would click save. The same thing holds true in the amount or the percentage. Again, I can manage history. And if you look at it, I'm looking at it and they didn't do it. Okay. So I'm going to add 0 because I may not want to give any discount, right? So I have to have 0 in there. Otherwise, every person's going to get a discount. And again, I locked the list because they can't give any higher than $20. Now, it's up to you what you do in there. So in my office, I used to allow the preparers to give up to $20 in discounts, like to not have a customer walk away, right? And again, guys, I did this years ago, so my numbers may be very small compared to what today's world is. But, you know, we used to do $10 off coupons, so I'd have $10 or I'd have $20 off or $5, whatever to make the customer happy and not have them walk away if they felt our fees were too high. But I didn't let them go over the 20. If they wanted to go over 20, they had to call a manager. So again, that's why I have 0 to 20. You do as you please with that. And again, you can add whatever you want in any increments you want as well. But remember to put 0, because if you don't put 0, they're going to have to give some sort of a discount because the choices will not have 0 in it. So that is a new piece this year. Again, it's a new box when you click on a field to manage a history list. And that was a gap that we had between Taxwise Desktop and Taxwise Online. That is most of the items in TWO that we've got. I'm trying to save and close. So where a lot of the big stuff is coming from this year is Taxwise Mobile. And again, I'm going to be in QA because it works in there. And I'm going to our fake one. I'm going to close some of this so I don't grab the wrong. So this is a fake one for us to test. But you'll set up your mobile where she has estimate your taxes. I put a big blurb in there about, you know, ask me how one big beautiful bill is going to affect your refund. And then you could qualify for a refund today. So again, that's up to you. I'm going to skip the estimator and go to an interview. I'm going to create a new account. And you can do this with your email account. 6. Should have gone there. I didn't want to go into one I have because I can't show you everything there. Let's try that again. Let's change this to 6 because I've been doing all the other ones. It's pretty crazy, huh? I've done 2,506. So it's going to send me a code to my Gmail account. So I'm going to just look that up on my phone. So just give me a second to get that. Gmail. Okay, so my code is 411507. So it will send them a code to verify the email address. And it's verifying that it's not in our system. Okay, so I'm going to verify the code. I'm good. So now I'm going to type in my password. And this is the taxpayer doing this. Okay, so this is the link that you would send to your taxpayer. And Alexis, I'm going to use you. Maybe if I can spell your name. And do create because I have a million of them with Dawn. So in my Taxwise Online, if I've had mobile in prior years, in 25, I went in and I changed it to document only. We had a lot of people complain about mobile because the taxpayer said to them, if I have to type all this in, what am I paying you for? So we changed, and it's one of the choices, so it's up to you, but you can do doc only. So it's for documents only, but it says doc. So what they will do is enter their filing status, and I'm just going to do single. And you'll notice now that they can upload an identification document. So they can do their driver's license, state ID, military ID, social security card. Okay. Typically, they'll have this on their phone or a tablet. But in order for me to be able to show you how to do this better in these situations, I am just on my computer. So I'm going to go to a file I have, maybe. Pictures, where are you? And I am going to wrong. It opened instead of me picking it. Hold on. Select a file to upload. There we go. And open. You'll notice it's uploading the file. It usually doesn't take very long, but again, we're on the share, so sometimes that slows it down. When it is done uploading it, you'll get a message over in the bottom right-hand side. So we're waiting for that. And you'll see it says file uploaded and extracted successfully. Guys, we've added AI into mobile, and it will pull the information off of those documents that have been loaded. So the social security card, the driver's license, military ID, and it will auto-populate it both here in mobile, so they don't have to type their name, their address, whatever's on the type of ID document that they use. So that's what we've got here. I also want you to see at the bottom, and this is not new, but just for those of you that are new to mobile, is you can do this in English or in Spanish. I'm going to keep it in English because I don't speak Spanish, and I'm going to go ahead and click next. But you can, so the taxpayer can change it to Spanish if it's what they're most comfortable with. They can then add the additional information. Like your social's not in your driver's license, right? So they would have to add this information, but it's filling in a lot that they don't have to fill in. So they'll need a phone number and click next. Next was your house in the United States. Yes. And then again, it gives me information. And when they pulled that driver's license, it had crazy stuff on it. So I'm just going to fix it here. There's my zip code and the information. I'm going to click next. And now they come to income. In income, there are 6 documents. And guys, this is really important. There are 6 documents that AI will read. They can upload all documents. So if they have like a form from the daycare, they can upload that form from the daycare, but the software AI will not read the daycare form, okay? It will read W-2s, 1099 NEC, 1099 MIS, 1099 SSA, 1099R, and 1099G. So those 6 documents, AI will complete the information, but I want all of you to make sure, and I want you to give me a thumbs up that you hear me, that you have to verify the data. This is new technology. Your name is going on the return. So make sure that you verify the information, okay? So I'm going to pick a W-2. Oh, I didn't really want all 10 of them. I used the wrong thing. Hold on. I just uploaded a W-2 because that's the only one I did. But they could do the control key and do 10. Now, they can upload others, but there is the 10 files uploaded, 9 more. I'm going to go ahead and go next. I'm not going to do any expenses, guys, just for time. So I'm going to click next. But again, if they had a 1098-T for tuition, or they had their form for student loan interest, or anything like that, they could upload it. Now, AI is not going to read it, okay? Because that is not one of the forms. So you will have to enter that data if they upload those forms, okay? Notice that they have a help button. So again, it can give them help on what these types of expenses are and give more of a list. I'm going to go ahead and click next. Now they can review their stuff. So they can come in and they can look at the information, and if they need to edit, they can click on the edit and they can go in and fix anything that needs to be done. Again, we did it pretty slowly. It's fake information. I'm just going to go ahead and click next. Then it says, okay, how do you want me to contact you? So again, depending on the age of the taxpayer, you may have your older taxpayers want you to call them. Your younger people want a text message. So then they would go ahead and submit the interview. This is huge, and this was a big addition this year. For those of you trying to build your business or improve on your return count and have more returns, it creates a referral code for this taxpayer. So this taxpayer has a referral code that they can share to Facebook, WhatsApp, or X, or they can copy it. Usually when I go over there, it says copy to clipboard. They can copy it and like put it in an email and send it to mom. Okay. So they could say, hey, I found this great new tax preparer, Dawn, and she did a great job on my taxes and the price was really reasonable. And you can just upload your documents on her mobile site. So whether they're local or whether they're across the country, they can refer clients to you for you to do their taxes as well. When I click back, you'll notice it says submission received. So the TWO office has their submission, but I want you to see that they can upload additional documents. So if they forgot something, they can come and add more, or they can come back tomorrow. Or if you call them and say, you know, last year on your tax return, you had interest income from Bank of America, but you didn't give me anything. And they say, oh, I totally forgot. You can say, hey, just go back into mobile and upload it. Okay. The other thing that's pretty cool is they can call you or text or email, and it's what you enter when you set it up. But there's also an in-app messaging. So from mobile, they can message you. And I'm just going to put, hi, this is Unity Tax, just so we can see it. Oh. And I'm going to click send because I want to show you on the other side. Okay. So they just messaged the preparer. When I log in, am I in QA? Yes, I am. When I'm in QA and I go to mobile returns, you'll notice I have 3 interviews to import. When I go here, you'll see here's the one I did today, right? At 2:37, I sent it. So I'll click on it. It's just because I keep using the same fake driver's license. And here is all of the data already filled in from what they gave me. So between my tax form defaults, what they entered in mobile, I have everything here. So all I have to do is put today's date in. Now, you have to set up an appointment with them, whether you do a phone call, you do a Zoom call, you do a FaceTime call, and go through and make sure that they didn't forget anything, because you know taxpayers, they may have sent you a W-2 because they get a ton of money back, versus they didn't send everything. Oh, I didn't realize my unemployment was taxable, so I didn't send it. Or different information. So again, look at the information off of the driver's license. I didn't have to put in the ID, the date of issue or the date of expiration. Boy, that's an old one. It expired back in 11. We'll have to find a newer one if we can. So everything comes through on here. The other thing I wanted to show you is in the vault. So again, when they send the documents, you have the documents now in vault. So here was that driver's license I did, right? So I'm going to close that, but it's nice because it's on another tab. So if you have dual monitors, you can open all the documents and move them to your other screen. So you can look at like the daycare form and you can enter it, but have it on your other screen. So it's really kind of cool because you can have all that. I'm also going to go in and I'm going to unlock this because they used the mobile. I can unlock the documents either at the time I do the return or when they call me in July and go, I need a copy of my W-2. I can unlock that document and I'm just going to close this and I'm going to go back to mobile. And if they click on the 3 lines up here in the top right corner, and they can go to documents and there's their W-2. So if they lost it and they call you in July and go, I know you gave me that W-2 back. I know you did, but I cannot find it. I have torn my house apart and it opened on my other screen. Hold on. There's the W-2. So it's up to you again of how you want to do it in your business, whether once you do the return, you unlock everything, or whether you wait until they call you and ask for stuff, but you can do it either way. The big thing I want to show you is look at this W-2. It went through and it filled in the information from the W-2 here. So it entered all of the information from that W-2 right into the tax return. Again, you have to verify the data with the document, right? So it says 32.5. Let's open that W-2 again. I closed it. I must have gotten a different one. Close this. Look. Nope. Okay, that's the first time I've seen it not bring in the right numbers. I'm in QA. I'm in the right place. Sample employer. Somebody may have messed in it and over, because you see I've got an overridden entry here. So somebody's messed in here and changed my stuff. So go ahead and go back. But every one of it so far has brought in the right number. So hold on, let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of this. Let me send a new one. Hold on. Let me try another import interview. I just can't get rid of all of hers or she'll shoot me because she keeps them in here so she has them. There you go. There's the information from that one, Stronger Family LLC. And there's the data from that. So you've got that there. Again, the 6 forms, W-2, 1099 miscellaneous, 1099 NEC, 1099 SSA, 1099R, and 1099G. Those are the 6 documents that AI will read this year. Okay. So it's really important for you to understand that. We're going to pretend that there's no red on here and that I've completed the return. Hold on, let me see what she's got. Main info for email address. Ooh, that's not going to work. Hold on, let me put it to mine. Okay. So once you're done with the return, if they're not in your office, you're going to use your e-signature. You'll notice I'm going to say on preparer's device because I want to show you in this demo. So if they're in front of you and you've checked their ID and you know it's them, but they don't want to touch your stuff or you don't want them to touch your stuff, you can do in person and they will get an email and they can sign it on their smartphone. So if they have a smartphone, you can do in person and they can either use their finger or stylus, or they can choose to type it and have a font in person. Let's say the wife's in your office doing the return and the husband is at work. You can set the husband up to do remote. And that is where it will do what it's called KBA questions. And I'm sure all of you have done that, where before it'll let you into something, you have to answer questions like, what address did you live in 2022? And it will give you sometimes 4 different addresses, sometimes 3 and none of the above. And you have to choose that information. And what that's doing is it's using the public database to verify that it's really that person. Because if I stole your purse and you had your social and your driver's license in there, I would have that information, but I wouldn't know who has your car loan right now or what address you lived in 22. You may not have lived in the same address. So it's a way to verify that it really is that person before they can see the tax return and sign it. So that is your remote. I'm, as I said, going to do on preparer's device just so I can show you what it looks like here. I'm going to click submit. We're going to wait a minute. Again, if it's in person, they will get an email and they will click on the link on the email and then sign it. So it looks very similar to what we're going to see in a minute, but they'll click on the email. Same thing with remote. They will get that email, they will click on it, and then it's pretty much very similar to what we're doing here and going from there. So you'll look at it now. I have sign now. They would have a link in their email to click on to sign now. I'm going to go by start signing. I have to adopt a signature. This is where they can draw it, and we're not going to do that with my mouse because it's really bad. I'm not good at that. But if they have their phone, they can use their finger or their stylus to sign it as well. I'm going to do type just to show you, and then they can pick it up from any of the different fonts. So let's say this looks more like them or what they want. They adopt the signature, and then this is your 1040, page 1 and 2, so they can look at it. Oop, I went too far. And then they can apply the signature. This is the 8879. They applied the signature, and then I clicked submit. Once I click submit, 2 things are going to happen. One is they will get a copy of the tax return that they can download if they want to. So that is the way to get them a copy of their tax return. From the preparer's perspective, you notice mine says it's completed. I'll say okay. And if I go to Vault, and it may take a minute, we'll refresh it. You'll notice I have the signed tax return. It's dated and time-stamped. And guys, it's Zulu time. Okay, so now I have the signed return. Again, I would open it and make sure I have the signatures I need. Okay, If it's married filing joint, I want to make sure I have both before I transmit the return. But the important part also is that I have a completion certificate for e-signature. Guys, that's something that the IRS requires you to have, and it creates it automatically through the e-signature. Both the signed tax return, the e-signature completion certificate, as well as your source documents will all stay with the return for 7 years. So you'll be able to go back in, and if you look at the bottom of the tree, you see I have my documents down there, or I can click where I did on Vault on the box to look at it and see everything. Okay. So this is a huge piece for you because now you've got your signed document. Again, I can run diagnostics. Tells me I have a date wrong. It's on my main info, not there. It must be an old one. I think it was from November, so it's too old for the date that they signed the document. So hold on, let's change it to today. It wasn't there at all. Let's run diagnostics again. Oh, goodness, look. I've changed my return, so I'm not even on the one I used to be on that had everything finished. I'm going to say no. Checked, I'm good. Let's run diagnostics again. Oh, I got all sorts of crazy stuff on here. I can't have Conyers and Rockdale. And we're going to take off the Conyers stuff. I like playing in here. It doesn't like these X's somebody put here. So let's do 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Because it came. On the other, I'm just going to get rid of it to make life easier. Oh, Social Security invalid. I had to pick this return, right, guys? But somebody was messing with it and putting all crazy stuff in. I was going to just try and show you with the diagnostics and running diagnostics and creating the e-file right from here. So apparently I can't get rid of all the errors right now. And again, we're in QA, so anything's possible. Let's see. Do this. I'm going to take this off because this is probably not correct. Do I have a crazy address on here? Yep. I got the city and the zip code where an address is supposed to be. So 22 Broadway. I don't see that number anywhere. I wonder if they actually just put the number in somewhere on the form. That's what happens when you share a QA account with somebody. Look, there it is. So let's do this and see where they got that from. Social Security Worksheet 1. I'm going to take that out because it doesn't like that number. There we go. Yay, create an e-file. Yes. Normally I would print the return, get all the signatures, but again, we're fake. Submit e-file. Yep, it's got a link state. We got it. And that e-file has been transmitted again. So those are all of the things that are new and thrilling that we went over. The other thing I want to show you, because people have been asking, so no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and the automobile loan information. Those are all done on a Schedule 1A. I'm going to click plus and put it in there. But what people have said to me is, oh, nothing's come over there. I'm going to close this. So when you do the W-2, there's your wages. If you scroll down, you see here qualified tips for no tax on tips. You have to enter the information here or the overtime. All right. So you have to enter the data here and it flows from here to that Schedule 1A. So I'm just going to put 5,000. I'm not going to do overtime. I'm just going to do tips. See, the 5,000 does carry over. I've had a bunch of people say, oh, it didn't come over, but you have to go down there and enter the information on the W-2, both for the tips and for the overtime. Okay, both of them. And then it will bring it over to the Schedule 1A, page 1 or 2. Same thing, overtime. And then page 2 is where you will enter the VIN and the information for the vehicle that they have the loan on, that they can take up to $10,000 of interest. Okay. And then also enhanced deduction for seniors. That will come about I can't talk all of a sudden, on the age. So when you put their date of birth in and they're over 65, it will calculate the enhanced deduction for seniors. Okay. Again, you have to have a valid Social Security number. And if you're married, you have to file jointly to get the deduction. Okay. And we've got it on the screen. So read the screen. A lot of the information is there for you. So make sure you're looking at it. Okay. So those are kind of the biggies for you this year. So that's where we are. Alexis, any questions we need to answer that came up that maybe would be good for everybody?
Yeah, we actually have several questions. But before I jump into questions, Dawn, would you mind taking just an extra 2 minutes out so that we can show everyone the dashboard and where to access that setup assistant to carry forward their data from last year?
Absolutely. So
that's
hold
going to
on.
be a big one.
Let me go back here. I'm going to save and close. That's a good one because a lot of people, we were talking about, it's the same thing as Taxwise Desktop Setup Assistant, but it does totally different. So if you use Taxwise Online in 24, once you open 25, you will click on Setup Assistant. And you will bring your assigned roles, your prepare and ERO information, And you can also carry forward your prepare use form if you want to.
And that's
so
one you guys absolutely will want to carry forward. So CIT offices, what that form is that line 25 has your answer on there to override the state fee that populates. So you want to make sure you check all 3 of those boxes to carry forward.
Okay. The other thing that I didn't think about, I'm going to go into administrator settings. The other thing we added this year as well is in the manage users, and I'm going to edit my own so I don't mess hers up. You now have business return. Well, oh, she moved it over here. I'm looking in the wrong place. So you now have a business return role. So again, if you have preparers in your office that do 1120S and 1065s, you can move that business return roll over. If you have people that are not well schooled or well versed in it, that you do not want them to have the ability to do those, then of course you would not give them the business return role. That's something new we added this year as well. Also, in the business returns, let me cancel out of there. Also in the tax returns, you have different tabs here. And last year, in the all returns, all your business returns were there. But in the active returns, no business returns showed up, only your active individual returns. So you'll notice now the partnership return is in that list as well. We have a lot of customers that work off the active returns because once it's completed, then it doesn't show up. So you're not looking through your list of all the returns that are done as well as what you've got to finish off. So it really can cut down the list of returns you're looking at. So a lot of people use the active returns list. And again, last year it did not have business returns in it. It will have them this year. The other thing, let me open that business return. I was going back through my list. You'll notice we have a trial balance import as well. So if you're doing 1065 and 1120S's, you have a trial balance import for QuickBooks, Sage, Client Accounting Suite, or from a template. So if they have, or if you have done an Excel spreadsheet to map everything into it, you know, they brought you a box of receipts and you took an Excel spreadsheet and entered stuff into the columns of what those receipts were for, you can then import that Excel spreadsheet. What you will have to do with these is once you import the QuickBooks file or the Excel spreadsheet, you're going to have to map where each one goes. So it's a little bit time consuming, but it will carry forward every year. So once you've done it for a business, it will carry the mapping forward every year, so you won't have to do it again. And so the only ones you would have to map is if they had new accounts in their chart of accounts that were not there before. So we also have that new trial balance import as well. We added some competitor conversion with the TWO business returns. So if you have any new customers that came from a different software and did business returns, again, the conversion data, we have a lot more of TWO business returns that you can convert over from other software. And that's about it. I'm making sure I didn't miss anything. I've got just about everything. So unless you want me to show them anything else, we can go to questions.
Nope, I think you covered everything and you did a phenomenal job. We definitely do have quite a few comments as well as questions. On here, I do see a lot of questions about the mobile app. I will cover a few of them. However, if you're not already registered for our webinar next Monday, That's going to be at 12 p.m. Eastern time. That webinar is strictly going to be on setting up the mobile app, all of the new and improved enhancements. So that'll be a great one to answer very specific questions on. So if I don't get to your question today, make sure you tune in on that, and we'll make sure to cover that. First and foremost, a lot of questions on a recording of this. We will get it recorded. Typically, it takes about 24 hours to post. So we'll have it up on our YouTube channel probably tomorrow afternoon. Keep an eye out for that. Next question is going to be, are there any additional costs to use the mobile app? So Unity Tax Partner clients receive the mobile app free of cost. It's included in with our program. So there's nothing additional you're paying for that or e-signatures. What forms will Wolters Kluwer AI read again? I think I'm missing one. Dawn, do you have that list again?
Absolutely. W-2, 1099 miscellaneous, 1099 NEC, 1099 SSA, 1099 R, and 1099 G.
Perfect. All right, and then when they get the email for signature, the email comes from who? Will the email say Unity Tax Partners, Taxwise, or what name? Dawn, it says it's coming from Wolters Kluwer, correct? Or did they change that this year?
I believe so. Hold on. I'm going
I forget
to
if
look.
it says Wolters Kluwer or your tax preparer. I know they switched it about a year ago.
Yeah, I think it does say Wolters Kluwer account. Oh. It says a SureSign API, and it says a document from Wolters Kluwer. But the actual, like when they're looking in their list, hold on, where's this one? Is this my work one? Sorry, I'm looking at where I am. I think I'm on my Gmail. Hold on, let me see if I can pull my Gmail up so I can show it to you.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Just give me a minute. Here. You see a SureSign API. So that's actually what they see. But then it says your Wolters Kluwer document has been completed. And this is where now that I signed it, they can actually view the whole tax return. But it's the same email for them to sign. And you see here, it says it's complete. And now I can download my return. So again, I can organize pages, okay. So if you go through, there's your 1040, tells you copy, do not file. Page 2, see the signature on here. So you've got that. So there's their 8879, there's their invoice. So whatever you have there, that's the information that they get. So they've got a copy, so you don't even have to print out a copy of their tax return. Once you do the signatures, they will have it. And again, it does say a SureSign for anything that you have to do that you've signed. I thought I deleted a bunch of them because I keep getting tons here. But it does say a SureSign as far as the name when it's listed. But in the subject line, it says a document from Wolters Kluwer.
Perfect. And it looks like next question, when can we input our bins onto the templates? So I can answer that for you. The bank modules are always one of the last things to release. Typically, those come out January 1st or January 2nd. So you won't be able to enter your ARBN number until that time. As soon as they do become available, we will go ahead and send out an email though, so you know you can jump in and get those entered for the new year. Next question is going to be, Dawn, regarding desktop, the multi-factor authentication. We had people say that it used to be pretty infrequent, about every 90 days or so, but recently they've had to do it more often. Has there been any changes to that?
Yes.
Or something worth
Yes.
talking about?
So desktop used to be 90 days. And it was felt people couldn't remember after 90 days how to go through it. So they ended up changing it to every 30 days. You have to update your password in desktop. So it is more frequent.
So every 30 days, even if they mark it. Okay, beautiful. That's good to know.
They mark remember me. Okay,
Yeah.
they have to mark remember me, and it will remember them for 30 days. If they forget to mark the remember me, which I did the other day at GetWise, then the next time they log in, they'll have to. The other thing a lot of people have to understand is if they're logging in on a different computer or tablet or their phone, then they'll have to do it as well. So if I have 3 computers in my office, and on day 1, I log into computer A under my username and everything, and I do the multi-factor authentication, and then I happen to sit at a different computer, computer B, on a different day, I'll have to do it on there as well, because it's a different device. And so that may be why people feel like it's happening more frequently if they're changing devices or laptop to computer or whatever, but you'll have to do it then as well. And again, remember that darn remember me box. So at least then it's every 30 days.
Perfect. Then I have a couple questions about some of the new upcoming tax changes this year. If you have not watched the webinar we did earlier this week with Anthony, we do have that posted on our YouTube channel, and I would highly recommend you watch it. I will briefly answer some of these. Do you know if this year the W-2s will have the amount of overtime? Most likely not. It's pretty unlikely they're going to change the W-2s to have the amount of overtime hours they worked. So you will probably have to request the last pay stub. That way you can account for those. Next one, does the vehicle interest have to be from a U.S. vehicle? So Dawn, correct me if I'm wrong, but it does have to be finished in the U.S. and it has to be purchased in 2025, a new vehicle, correct?
Absolutely correct. So the final assembly is what they're saying has to be in the US. And I laughed because when they passed the law, the first thing I noticed on TV is the commercials would say assembled in the US. Because then those vehicles then fall into that if you get a loan on it, new vehicle, get a loan, you can take off up to $10,000 of your interest. So that's the big thing. So you are correct. They must be final assembly in the US. And that's one of the reasons they're asking for the VINs, guys. You have to put the VIN. So they'll have to bring those documents. In their paperwork, when they purchase it, there is a document that shows where it was assembled. I forgot what they call it. But in their paperwork, when they purchase a vehicle, it is in there. I want to say country of origin or something about origin, is what the paperwork says. And it has it there.
Perfect. Let's see. There was a question, is Vault included for free as well? Yes, you do have Vault included in your program. So that is, I believe it's 5 gigabytes of storage per client. That's completely free. So we always recommend uploading any of that documentation you have for those clients so that you don't have to keep paper files in the office and you can keep all of that data together.
Yep. And guys, I recommend that you purchase a USB document camera. Hold on, I'm looking to see if it's right here next to me. Because as I said, I came in from GetWise last night and I'm going back out tomorrow morning. I'm going to turn my camera on real quick so you can see the one I have. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Hold on, let me get the camera. Here we go. So can you guys see this? It kind of looks like a gooseneck lamp. Got a weighted base and you can move it and you can move this. There's all different ones. Why I recommend this over scanning is when you use a USB document camera, the data goes from you taking the picture directly into Vault. So you are not storing it anywhere. When you scan documents in, scanner, copier, printer, fax, whatever, when you're bringing it in through one of those devices, you have to save it somewhere. When you have one of those big mumbo jumbo printer, copier, scanner things, it saves it a lot of times right in that device. And that is an area of concern that people can hack into to get personal information in your office. So I don't particularly recommend a certain brand. I like the one I have. It was like $89. They start at $49 and go up. What I liked about this one is for the $89 is it has a light. So I can put the light on and I don't get reflection like from the gooseneck itself and have like a reflection or a shadow within the document and stuff. I can put the light on. Some of the less expensive ones don't have that light. And you can just order them off Amazon or go wherever, you can get computer equipment and things, but it's called a USB document camera, not just a plain camera. You want a document camera. And again, you can just get them from Amazon or wherever. Read the instructions. I had somebody who came up to me who had the same one that I have and said theirs did not work. There was an app I had to download. I can go there and do pictures from it, but I don't need it. But in order for it to bring it up as a possible camera, and here, let me plug it in for a minute and I'll show you. In order for it to bring it up as a camera, you had to put this, it was called Documate. You had to put that in, and hold on, let me see if I got documents in my bag of tricks here. Yeah, I got something. Okay. Some of them are huge. So with your document camera, hold on. I'm still sharing my screen, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. I'm just gonna, if I can get my mouse to go over where I need to go. Here we go. So you click on Vault, and then you click on Photo. So you see here, it says document camera, or it'll be my laptop camera, which is this one. So you do the document camera, and guys, I wasn't all set up for this. So I'm on my desk, but not great. So you can come here like this, bring it down so you're smaller. See how I have all the shadows and different things? So if I put my light on, it works much better with it. And then if I can reach around here, I kind of got it on my, you're going to get a picture of my hand. There's the photo. And then what you can do is type in what it is. So it's spouse driver's license. I would put her name, but I don't even know what it is. And then you save it to Vault. Get my hands out of my camera there. And the same thing with any of your documents. So W-2s. There's a W-2. Let's go up a little. And typically when you have it set up on your desk, what I recommend you do is get it set up. I mark on my desk, but I've been on the road. So mine's been picked up and moved and a million other things at this point. So there's a copy of it here. Again, this is my W-2. So I would just come in. And if you have a bunch of W-2s, I would recommend you put something about the company. So this is actually company. How original. And then save to Vault. So you have that with Vault. And again, totally up to you guys. They have cameras that are stupid money, like really, really big money. Oh, look, I put a space in there and it's not happy. It's not going to go. So you can do that. The ones that are really high priced are super high DPIs and stuff like that. So like if you wanted to do photographs, you know, old photographs and stuff. So you don't need anything that expensive. Like I said, the $49 to $99 ones are all you need to be doing what you need to do with documents. And typically the difference in price is whether they have the light and what kind of resolution they have. So again, totally up to you what you do. You can scan them in. There's no doubt about it. But if you're scanning stuff in, make sure you have that on your WISP. So, and Alexis, do you have them do WISPs and do you help them with that?
Yeah, we always send out reminders for WISP programs at the beginning of the year. It's not something we personally assist with, as you know, it's different for each business, but
absolutely. But again, the more that you have that you don't have personal information, so not having paper file folders and paper documents like signed 8879s, doing it with e-signature, it's one less thing you have to worry about somebody stealing a file folder because they went back to use your ladies' room or men's room and they saw files stacked up on top of your file cabinet and grabbed 5 and put them in a big purse and went on. So those are the kind of things to think about for using e-signature, for using the USB document camera, for doing things like that, and using Vault to store all your documents. And if you're not saving them to your server or they're not being saved in your printer, scanner, fax copier, or whatever, it's less places of risk. So that's very important. Okay, any other questions?
yeah, this is a great one. Do I understand correctly that we do not need to keep physical copies of the return IDs and socials, etc., because we saved it to the Vault?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? You kind of faded out for a second.
Yeah, of course. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
So this client was confirming that the documentation that they keep in the Vault would make it so that they do not have to keep paper copies in their office, such as
absolutely correct, because they will be able to bring them up if they came in for an audit and show them everything here. If for some ungodly reason they wanted it in paper, you can print it, whether it's the tax return or whether it's, you know, their IDs, their social security cards, whatever. Yep.
Perfect.
Same thing with 8879. That's one of the reasons using the e-signature to have them sign and having that completion certificate, that fulfills their requirements to have the signed documents so you don't have to have them in paper.
Awesome. I think that is going to kind of end out our questions for this webinar. Again, Dawn, we cannot thank you enough for coming in and doing this again with us. For everybody else, I do want to remind you, we are going to have Dawn back with us on Monday for our mobile app webinar, which we're going to go ahead and cover how to set it up. We're going to go more in depth on the different settings and options with that. That is going to be at 12 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're not registered for that yet, go ahead, check your email. You should already have it in there. Any additional questions, feel free to give us a call. Again, our number is 904-900-3099, and we'll get this webinar posted just as soon as we can for your review. All right, perfect. Thank you again so much, Dawn. It's been a pleasure.
Anytime. Everybody have a great day. Get ready for season.
All right. Talk to you Monday. Bye.
Bye.